Hello, this is Mr. Chabry92 bringing you another narrated Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. Now this was the International January competition, the competition that goes under VGC 16 rules. VGC 16 rules allows for 2 mascot legendaries, so I lead off with my Kangaskhan and my Typhlosion, as he leads off with his Mawile and his Greninja, and he quickly switches out his Mawile for Yveltal, I guess expecting an eruption for my Typhlosion, as I Mega Evolve my Kangaskhan to get ready to do some big damage. So now with my Mega Evolve Kangaskhan, I'll go for a Fake Out upon the Greninja. That way it'll keep my Typhlosion alive for at least one more turn. And my Typhlosion goes for Flamethrower. I decided to use Flamethrower instead of Eruption because I thought Mawile would have Sucker Punch. So I switch out my Typhlosion to save it for a later time as I switch into my Groudon. So now Groudon is one of the legendaries I brought for this competition, and it's holding the red orb, which lets it primal revert into Primal Groudon, and that brings the sunshine. And the sunshine is mostly there to help out my Typhlosion, which Typhlosion is the Pokemon I want it to be the MVP. So I go for a Sucker Punch on the Greninja, trying to whittle it down, and it didn't do very much damage because it's still Dark type. But I find out this is a physical Greninja, which physical Greninjas don't really do much damage. But luckily Groudon avoids the attack, as Kangaskhan takes that pretty well. And then Yveltal uses Oblivion Wing on my Kangaskhan. So Kangaskhan's still holding on to some HP. So the next turn, Greninja starts off with a Shadow Sneak towards my Groudon. And Groudon takes that pretty well, because this is a bulky defensive Groudon, physically defensive Groudon. So I go for a Sucker Punch, but unfortunately Greninja used the Shadow Sneak, and then Yveltal gets to take out my Kangaskhan with another Oblivion Wing. So down goes my Mega, and Groudon uses Thunder Wave on Yveltal to slow it down. I should have used, well, I was expecting the Greninja to be taken out with Sucker Punch, so that's why I went for Thunder Wave. So now I switch in my Xerneas, as he switches out his Yveltal for his own Groudon. So now there are 2 Groudon on the field. And now his Groudon Primal reverts into Primal Groudon, bringing its own Desolate Land ability. And here his Greninja goes for Gunk Shot for my Xerneas. And fortunately for me, Xerneas avoids the attack. So now my Xerneas is free to bring up a Geomancy, basically for free since it didn't take any damage. And here's the tactic that makes Xerneas such a powerful Pokemon to have on your team. Power Herb plus Geomancy, which raises its special attack, its special defense, and speed 2 stages in 1 turn. So now I go for a Precipice Blades, but unfortunately the Greninja avoids the attack, and the Groudon still hangs in there. And Xerneas finishes up the Greninja finally with a Psychic. So down goes the Greninja that has lived through so many things that could have easily taken it out, as his Groudon now goes for Precipice Blades. And that's going to do quite a bit of damage to my Pokemon. But luckily my Groudon survives the hit and answers back with its own Precipice Blades, which knocks out the Groudon. So now I have lost 1 Pokemon and he has lost 2. So I'm pretty happy with where things are right now, as he sends out his Mawile and his Yveltal. And the last Pokemon I have in the back is still that Typhlosion that I led off with earlier. So now the Intimidate and the Dark Aura radiates, as his Mawile Mega Evolves. And on this turn, his Yveltal uses Sucker Punch on my Groudon, which unfortunately takes out the Groudon. I was hoping to at least kept the Groudon for when Typhlosion came in, so the sun would be up, but oh well. And now Xerneas goes for a Moonblast to finish off this Yveltal. So now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to take a Steel-type move from the Mega Mawile, which that turns out to be what happens. So now my Xerneas is down. So now it's down to one Pokemon on both sides, Mega Mawile and Typhlosion. And here, the Mega Mawile shows that indeed it does have Sucker Punch, which this would have been horrible if I went for Eruption because it would not have done enough damage. But luckily I went for Flamethrower, which Flamethrower was enough to take it down. So here it is, the MVP of this match, Typhlosion. Unfortunately I didn't get to do the cool Eruption sound effect, but I'll do it anyway. Eruption!